Welcome back. Fair use, entertainment purposes only.
Why are modern women like this? Everywhere you look, there are self-proclaimed girl bosses chasing dominance and female empowerment, especially the growing number of middle-aged, childless career women. And yet, they remain the most depressed and anxious demographic. The Bible has an answer. In Genesis, both Adam, representative of career women, and yet, they remain the most depressed and anxious demographic. The Bible has an answer. In Genesis, both Adam, representative of men, and Eve, representative of women, are cursed, forced to endure the natural consequences of a sinful world. These curses hit us where we're most vulnerable and are tailored to both sexes. They cause misery on an individual level and on a collective scale have contributed to the collapse of civilizations throughout history. Genesis 3:16. To the woman he said, I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. What I just read was the NIV translation. But if I read the ESV translation, you'll notice the second half is different. Your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you. The translations don't match, and even seem to contradict. This is a telltale sign that there's a word here that the translators are struggling with. A trick when dealing with such a situation is to find the same words being mistranslated in another passage, and then infer from.
This guy's smart. What I did, I said, let me look around and see how everybody's relationship is because that's the fucking truth. There's what people say, and then there's reality that you see every day. And, you know, women are not really desiring their husbands anymore. They're desiring to rule over them.
Context. In our case, Genesis 4:7, which is about how sin is seeking to control Cain and motivate him to murder his brother. On screen, you're seeing both translations. They are a perfect match. Alternatively, you can also look at the original Hebrew, which I'm also putting on screen, proving it's a match. Therefore, from context, we know exactly what this hard-to-translate word means. To control, to usurp, to dominate someone's authority or decision-making power. Therefore, the curse of Eve could read as, your desire will be to usurp your husband's authority, but he shall rule over you. Remembering that Adam and Eve are stand-ins for men and women as a whole, this means women will desire to usurp men's authority, but they shall never succeed. Men.
Why? Because the real world doesn't give a fuck about how you feel. You know? When nature starts tearing shit up and you can't pick things up and put them down, you're gonna ask somebody to do it. And then that person's gonna say, I run shit around here. You just live here.
Will always rule over them. This drive to usurp male authority and reject complementary rules is exactly what we see packaged today as egalitarian feminism. The Bible repeatedly affirms the authority of men. On screen, you'll see some verses showing exactly that. And yet, that has not stopped women throughout history from trying. Indeed, there are women who do not submit to their husbands, and often control them in turn. Does this make God a liar? Obviously not. She may reject her husband's or father's leadership, for example, but she will always end up submitting to some man. What
Is that not true? A woman will rule over every man in her life, but she will always have to bend her head to another man. And she's going to treat him really good, while she treats men that are actually living with her like shit, which that's kind of backwards because you got to deal with the people that you're around all day. So the chaos in your life is you. When you actually have what other people don't have, a husband and other men that listen to you, instead of usurping them and trying to force things to be a certain way and not realizing you're making everybody miserable, you know? Like, you can't be the only one that's happy. That's why people walk on eggshells. That's why people start lying to you and saying, yeah, you look great, yeah, 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 whatever, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whether that's her boss, a boyfriend, a guru, or cultural trends set by powerful men. She trades out a legitimate authority that's committed to her welfare for an illegitimate authority with no such obligations under the illusion of choice.
Like, you know how like women, the OnlyFans epidemic caught on, and women were like, I don't fucking have to listen to no man. I fucking make my own money. Who fucking made OnlyFans? A man. You made a man a billionaire faster than most billionaires ever have to rise. So basically, he was a pimp, and you worked for him, and you gave him your cut. But you're not a billionaire. So your independence of I don't fucking work for nobody. Everyone works for somebody. It's impossible not to work for somebody unless you start your own business.
Contrary to popular opinion, feminism is not new.
And then when you make your own business, you start getting taxed, and you start have to going by regulations, and those things are controlled by men, so you still get told what to do by men. You get it?
Every time a society has tried it, the pattern is the same: plummeting birth rates, rising social degradation, insecurity, and turmoil.
Is that not the truth of what you see now? So, you know, when you can see the truth, you can't deny it. And when you see the truth, you have to look at how did we get here? You know? And is it even worth it? Because a lot of women, I get it. You know? Trust me, I understand. You know, not every man's a good man. Men have the ability to rule over you and not treat you so well. I get it. You know, it's like payback time and shit. Like, you know, like what goes around comes around. So I kind of, I ain't saying you're right, but I would understand why women on a mass level would every couple of fucking centuries say, I'm rebelling against everything men say and I don't give a fuck no more. You niggas don't act right. So I'm gonna not act right now. And I'm gonna use the Jedi Sith Lord mental trick on you.
Eventually followed by a harsh masculine reaction that leaves women with fewer freedoms than before. Whereas most societies are designed around.
So what does that mean, ladies? That means nothing's new under the sun. You guys tried this. Yous are more free than any women in the entire world has ever been. And if you keep pushing, you're gonna make things change. And it's not gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. Because history repeats itself. Because people keep doing the same fucking things.
Helping people deal with our flawed human nature, our modern societies are hell-bent on enabling it. Girls are pitted against boys in school. Movies and TV present men as incompetent idiots. Our society vilifies and demeans the natural role of women, and instead glorifies masculine endeavors. Fatherhood is reduced to nothing more than a paycheck. Older, childless women hide their depression and preach about how great their lives are to younger women, the complete opposite of what the apostles command, because misery loves company.
Now, ladies, you really gotta like admit that at some point in your life that the older chick that you listen to, you gotta kind of look at her success rate and her happiness level. You know, does she bitch and complain about men all day, but she's happy without men? Because when men are happy without women, we don't sit around fucking talking about how miserable you make us. We get hobbies and things and talk about things that make us happy. We talk about the women we did be with and they were good and they was amazing. You know, we don't sit around and say fucking all women are bad and all this and no, we say the world changed and unfortunately I live in this time. Like it's back in the day and shit. And I gotta deal with this and I gotta fix this problem somehow. And if not, you know, you're gonna deal with it the best way you can. You know, can we stop playing the shenanigan game? Some of us. It's not getting any easier.
And as a result, the Word of God is reviled and labeled misogynistic for not affirming modernity's delusions. If you want to fix this, it starts with you. Stop listening to preachers who never risk offending your sensibilities.
Oh, I mean that would really make some sense. You know, like if you preach the word and the way, and everyone knows the old saying, the truth hurts, then that would mean preachers would be hurting fucking people's feelings. You're not going in there to hear some, you go girl, you right boy, you just rule over her and just fucking, you pay the bills. No, nigga, she's a human being, and you better learn that she has feelings and she's opposite of you, so there's things she needs you to do, nigga. And if you don't show her the way, well, then she's gonna do what she does. You know? Women need someone to listen to. And when they get filled up with knowledge, they go and live things, you know, just like men. And um you guys have been in charge of raising boys for a long time with no men. So you can no longer blame men and say, well, the men they're not manning. Because you have to find a man for him to show him how to be a man, or the next generation have to wait for the late bloomers of men to grow up, and you can cry and complain about that. You know? Or you can stop, like, beating your son's head in and saying mama's right and treat all women right and all these dumbass things, and you can start teaching him not the Bible, your own experiences. You know, I'm sure either you swindle niggas or you know someone that swindles niggas, so you know how the game goes. So therefore, you should be teaching your fucking sons the game. This shit is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Women say they love children so much, right? I love my son. Yous never teach them how to avoid hoes. Yous never teach us how to see good women and actually start looking at that as a good thing. And not the hot chick with the fucking pants on and all. Yous don't enforce these things. And then yous at 14, why you got this fucking ragamuffin bitch pregnant? I don't understand. Because you didn't do your job. You didn't warn me. You didn't tell me that that the tricks, you know? You didn't tell me none of that. You told me go get a job. You told me go to school. You told me be strong. You know? You told a lot of good things. And I'm talking about people from middle class to the bottom. Because, you know, like me being on the bottom, I'm smart enough to say, let me go hang around middle class people, see how they do it. And not even them, they do it. And that's why I know why I live in a world where most, you know, the bullshit, the chaos, you know? So, you know, don't act like I don't know what I'm talking about. If this offends you, women, don't be offended. Like that guy said. You know? Feel the hurt, feel the anger. Who the fuck you think? I'm nobody. I'm just a guy saying the truth. You know? Some women are not. Uh, some men need to be rolled over. They're idiots. That nigga wouldn't even have a place to stay if you didn't stay in his life and make sure and push him to go to work every day. You know? But he's doing the fucking work. And so what, you need to remind him. You know how many niggas just don't go to work? Make excuses after excuse and get it? Start realizing how good you got it. You know? And understand there's nothing wrong with changing. Think how great you can have it and say, well, I do have men around my life and I am bitchy and bushy and I can change and start having the life that people, I could be a little easier and still get my fucking way. These niggas is, I'm still that bitch regardless. I just have fucking attitude. I was taught to always correct and belittle men with jokes and all these goofy things that make niggas not want to be around me. And then wonder why. Why isn't it like back in the day where everybody was cool with me and because men and people only tolerate you because you was young and they wanted something from you. Now that you're older and everybody has their own shit and there's other women those men could get and not just wait on you, that's why. Pull your head out of your ass and understand a lot of us only have so many years left. Do you really want to spend it arguing and fighting about how you're better than a man? You get it? Do you really want to spend the rest of your life saying, no man run me, but you have a president and he's a man? You have a boss and he's a man. When you get in trouble from violent men, you're going to call men to come save you. More unless you got that big bang attack, you know what I mean? A lot of y'all women ain't playing no more. And I understand. But you don't need to read the Bible to see that there are truths in the world. And these truths lead back to biology. It's not always men run things because we're smarter. We run shit because there's no one else to take over when this shit gets real. Every place that civilizes and then says, let feminism run wild. How did Rome fall? Oh yeah, because feminism ran wild and women started voting for dumb shit, and then the enemies come and loot you and take the women away. And the same goofy ass niggas and bitches talking that dumb shit when you're getting taken by real men because they don't let their women run society and act like, let's put them in the army and all these other things and make men feel weak and not want to have something to fight and die for. You get it? When you take my spot, you need to really fill that spot because there's other men around the world that's like, I hope they feminize. Yeah, let them in. Let them in. You right. Keep beating your men down and telling them they're nothing and dudes just not manning up, working out and all this other shit. And when you get into some real shit and you need real men, you remember you beat the men down around you that would have protected you. And it's too late. There ain't no going back. There ain't no talking. There won't be no talking. There's only going to be, you're coming with us, and they're going in the floor. And you sound no horns, my daddy's in the building. You see, when the world changes like that and other men want to dominate each other, women start wanting to be under men again. Then you understand the privilege of, I'm the one that has to fight to keep us alive if other men want to change our fucking reality. So maybe I should get a little extra respect around here. Maybe I should get a little coffee in the morning with that less attitude. You know, I understand that the men before us, dominated everybody, and people don't fuck with us. So you're allowed to pretend like you're not holding shit down, but no. Like, I don't agree with Trump, but when he speaks on certain things about like the flat rate of reality of things, like I don't agree with he has the I like his way of this is what's gonna happen. You can say I'm bad, you can say I'm whatever, but it's gonna happen. Why? Because he understands I'm a man. I'm gonna make it happen, and I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do things. You get it? Because that's the reality of what this world is. Men do things, you know? And women should have respect and be protected. And you guys should have power to help us make our decisions. Some of you should have good positions and, leadership in certain levels and blah, blah. I don't care about none of that. That won't be new. They lied to you women and keep telling you just started working. Women have been working since the existence of time. Why? Because all of you don't look really good. So who the fuck was taking care of the ones that didn't look good? That didn't get picked to be a husband? Who took care of you back in the day? You just went off in the wilderness and died? No, you worked. You learned how to build things and you fucking got with other women and you survived, you know? And that's where how he was saying the 40-year-old women with no men. A lot of women and men don't get picked. We waste our time. We don't pick the fucking whatever regular person that's actually equal to us. And, then we get older and then we really, you're by yourself. And then the reality of life kicks in. You don't know anybody. You're in a place, and nobody's feeling you like that no more. You gotta work too much now. You got too many other fucking things to worry about to be worrying about trying to go out and meet somebody. You get it? You're among the single crew now. That billions of other people lived and died their whole life. Don't feel bad. You won't be the first and you're not gonna be the last. See, the world wasn't designed for us. But we still have to live in it. My father has a job for you. It's called use your fucking intelligence and money to help out the families and the good people. Not sit around fucking convincing people to be single and miserable. As much shit as I talk, I always try to get people together in some type of way. Even as singles. Single people have the best chance to have relationships and end up with people than the marriages and all that shit's falling apart now. Why? Because people are waking up to certain things. People are tired of being treated in a certain way, and other people are taking advantage. It doesn't mean life doesn't continue though. So what are you gonna do with your time? Are you going to spend it trying to help other people reach levels and things that you're not going to get to anyway? Or are you going to worry about you living your life and what happiness and joy you actually have left? Happiness and joy is not something that's always there. Because, life is real. You know? If we were meant to always be happy and joyful, would it ever fucking rain? Would there ever be cold weather? No. Enjoy your time. All love, all praise to the Most High.